No, because now the conversation has devolved into policing blackness. So let's deconstruct the public perception of black women as villains. Since one battle after another has released, there has been dozens of think pieces on the character Perfidia, a couple of which I have done myself. And while I do think that there are some very valid critiques about the amount of screen time that we got from Perfidia and the confusing nature of her actions, discussion around whether or not Perfidia is a good character has evolved into one that is dripping with misogynoir, even from black women. Obviously, no one is exempt from biases that has been instilled in us since birth. But it was definitely this article by Ellen E. Jones where she talks about Jezebel's race kinks and Cardi B, which, first of all, I hate connecting real life people to characters. It's this quote that I've highlighted on the bottom. I'm not quite sure if you guys can see, where she says, "Note to white screenwriters, not every black woman speaks like Cardi B." And that really threw me off because some women do talk like Cardi B. Breonna Taylor is one of them. Sometimes we over dictate how black people are portrayed. And I know that it's a trauma response to the way that black people have historically been portrayed in media. But sometimes I feel like in the criticizing, we forget that black people exist in the way that we are criticizing them for. And I really think it's our internal biases and insecurities that pulls some of these critiques out, especially when we see characters like Perfidia. This is exactly why I highlighted Sister Sage in my intro. Both women are essentially self-serving villains who are very sexual in nature and use sex as a tool to get ahead. The conversation around Sister Sage is completely different. Don't get me wrong, Sister Sage is a character from a series, so she has so much more screen time than we got from Perfidia. So her motivations are way more fleshed out. From the additional characterization that we get on Sister Sage, we learn that she is 1,000 times worse than Perfidia. I made so many videos about this woman already, so I refer you guys to those. Perfidia, for all intents and purposes, is a victim of circumstance. She's selfish and she craves freedom. And her selfishness ultimately leads to her revolutionary group being dismantled. And I gotta say, what she does is pretty terrible. But people seem to have more smoke for her not being a good mother and ratting out her friends than they do for Sister Sage, who reinstalled fascism and single-handedly made sure that this dangerous man baby became president. Sister Sage also weaponizes her sexuality, using it as a tool to push forward her plan. Even when she doesn't want to, there are moments where she literally lobotomizes herself so that she could fuck people through her plan. And I truly believe that there are other reasons why we have way more smoke and less grace for Perfidia than we do for Sister Sage. And I don't think that it's just time spent. It's the way that these women carry themselves. Sister Sage is not part of any think pieces that include the Jezebel trope because of the way that she looks, speaks, and dresses. She's in her corporate assigned outfit. Sister Sage is typically dressed in oversized clothing. She has locks, presumably because of comfort. Her soft features and doe eyes give her a more sweet look. Even when she's intense, there's a very approachable nature to the way that she looks and dresses. Add to the fact that Sister Sage is literally the smartest person on the planet. She's also autistic coded and speaks in the manner that you would imagine that the smartest person in the world does. That and the fact that she aligns herself with what we would consider the right wing in the story absolves her from judgment of black people, because to us, she's not one of us. People love Sister Sage because at the end of the day, all of the destruction and harm that she's causing, specifically to people of color, because let's remember, she's also a supremacist, she's doing it because she can, and people admire that with this woman. And I guess the purpose of this video, and what I really want to ask my fellow black people, is for us to meaningfully engage in the way that we criticize the portrayal of black women. Because I've seen people question Maya Rudolph and her connection to blackness, and even other black women who like the character of Perfidia, just because they don't quite like the way that Perfidia is flawed. And there are already characters like this that exist with half of the smoke. In the pursuit of proper representation, let's try to not exclude people that do exist. I do firmly believe that we need to hold white people accountable when they're portraying us, but I resent the fact that anytime a black character is using AAVE or does something that's undesirable, they're deemed as the worst thing to happen to the black community in cinema. Women like Perfidia deserves just as much representation as women like Sage. So instead of challenging people on their blackness or injecting your own misogynoir on this character, we should just be breaking down why she sucks as a person and a character herself. But that's just my 2 cents. Say what you want about the character Perfidia. He has sparked a huge conversation, and at the end of the day, that's what art is for. So in that regard, I do think One Battle After Another did its job. Please leave Tiana and Maya alone, because finally, and I thought I was done with my points, but a lot of y'all are robbing these black actresses of their agency when we make it seem like they're just these helpless victims of white men writing. And in reality, especially in the case of Perfidia, Tiana Taylor had a lot of say in the way that she spoke and acted and even dressed. That's how Tiana Taylor speaks and acts and dresses. And she's also very sexual. She talks about getting her back blown out by Aaron Pierre all the time. She should. She deserves it. But yeah, please tell me your thoughts. You think that sometimes we over-police the portrayal of black people in media? Let me know in my comments below. Until next time, have a fantastic week, my friends.